Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So much to talk about, and so yeah, I'll see you after the intro. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So, got a lot to discuss. Trying not to make it too long, but before I start, I want to say shout out to all who commented. I read all of you guys' comments. I really appreciate the positive reinforcement. Some of you guys made me laugh. So yes, I really do appreciate seeing those positive comments. It definitely does encourage me to keep doing what I love to do, and just keep doing me on this channel and sharing my passion and giving this valuable information to you guys. So yes, I really do appreciate you guys' comments. Also want to give a special shout out to City Hunter Inact for just taking the time out to do that little video tutorial showing me how to remix an STL using Mesh Mixer. So I really do appreciate you taking the time out to do that, man. So shout out to you guys. Big kudos to you too for doing that for me. Appreciate that. And also there was a lot of questions, man. Wow, like especially from Martin. Don't mean to call you out, Martin, but you had a lot of questions like, you know, why do it this way? Why not, you know, get a frame from LDO, which is currently not available, because you have to literally take a V1.8 frame and follow the manual to convert it into a Trident. So you had a lot of stuff to say. I'm not sure if you're aware of any of the Voron stuff or any information, but right now I'm pretty sure LDO is working on a Trident kit. But right now you have to take a V1.8 frame and do some drilling. You still have to do a few little drilling in order to convert it to a Trident frame. So, but anyhow, the reason for this is to, again, provide information, give someone a different direction. Maybe, you know, maybe someone had a spear Tronxy frame or spear extrusion, or just extra resources that they would like to turn into a printer. This is what my channel is all about. It's just giving people that possibility that you can do that. Now, keep in mind that this is also a custom build. So not everything is gonna fit exactly like if you had bought a frame kit from either AliExpress or Tronxy, and you know, it's pre-set up with the correct linear rails in mind. This is a custom setup, so you have to expect that there is going to be some kind of cutting of linear rails, some kind of cutting of aluminum extrusion. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's unrealistic to not think that. But you had a lot of questions, like almost questioning, why am I doing this? And the purpose of doing this is to give information and show someone that there's a different way to go about making a Trident, this specific printer or any other printer. Right? It's just opening up that door for someone that want to use the extra resources they have and maybe throw a little extra money to make a better printer out of something that might not have been good for them. That's really it. You know what I'm saying? So don't take it too seriously, buddy, because the way you're coming off is almost like you kind of sounded irritated. Not saying you were, but it just came off very why, right? And you know, but you know, again, the best way to put it is, I don't like to follow the crowd. I'm different. I like to be different. I like to think outside the box. It's easy to get a frame and a kit and put it together, just like my V2.4 there. That's a kit. My 1.8, that's a kit. But I've done that already, and I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of people who buy the Trident kit and build a Trident out of it. But that's boring, right? That's gonna be, that's everywhere. You see 2.4 build everywhere, 1.8, not much 1.8, but V2.4 build everywhere, V0 everywhere. Like that's after a while it gets boring. You know what I'm saying? So this is just me taking it outside of that spectrum and giving you guys a total different perspective on a different possibility. That's the point. That's the purpose of this. So anyways, not to go on a tangent, I'm done with that. So let's talk about what I've got done so far. So yeah, so as you can see, it now looks like an absolute Trident now. No longer an X5SA at this point. So where should I start? So a lot to talk about. So got the baseboard in. It's a slightly thicker acrylic. I was really supposed to be using like at least a 3mm acrylic. This was like 5 or 6. Not sure. I didn't really measured it, but I'm pretty sure it was thicker than normal. So, but I did end up cutting it and fitting it. When I used to cut out the holes, I did use the DFX files or DXX files, whatever those files is for the cutout for this board. I used that as a reference to cut out the appropriate notches so it fits in place. And I used a Dremel to cut it. So I used this this wheel is really meant to be used on wood, but it did work really well to cut out on this thick plexiglass here. So so that worked out. Wrapped it in some spare carbon fiber vinyl that I had. So this kind of made it really look good and stand out. So I'm glad I wrapped it. Made some extra holes that I didn't need to. It was meant to be this hole, but I kind of had it the other way, so I had to just correct that and drill an extra hole, which is no big deal. So I'm using that to kind of cover it up. So but I've mounted pretty much everything that needs to be mounted. So yeah, that's looking good. Also went ahead, let me push this back a little bit here. Also went ahead and mounted the bed frame mount here. This ended up being 530mm. It was a 600mm extrusion, but I cut it down to 530mm here. And this is 320mm, and this was a 400mm extrusion that I cut down as well. So that worked out. As far as the linear rails, I told you that these were MGM 9H linear rails. They were 400mm, and in the last video I told you that they couldn't fit. Remember, I showed you they couldn't fit. Now I got them to fit because I had to cut off about 6mm off of it. So now it's 393mm. Very odd numbers there. But like I said, you can't find custom linear rail cut like that. You'd have to literally cut it yourself. So it ended up being 393mm on this side and on that side, of course. Also, I had to cut the MGN 12 linear rails on here, which was 500mm previously. Now it's 460mm on here, and I have my little information here, so that's why I remembered. So that's what I had to do, and I used a Dremel and a cutting disc. So a Dremel and a metal cutting disc in order to cut them, and they actually, it took less than a minute to cut them. It was that fast. It took less than a minute to cut all of them. They came out really clean. They cut really clean. Didn't have to do much cleanup at all. Just ran it in my little belted sander right there that you see. Just ran them on that real quick, and that was it. Pretty easy cleanup. So everything fit nicely. Decided to run the belt, so I went ahead and run the belt. Also print out the afterburner stuff and have it all pre-wired. So I'm going to be using the clockwork. Now I know a lot of people was asking me if I'm going to ever use the the Galileo or one of those. Honestly, the clockwork does a good job, personally, in my opinion. I really don't have an issue with the clockwork. It's been amazing on all of my printers, and as you can see, the print quality of my printers are really good, because I've took the time out to dial it in and tune it in, so I don't really need to try anything else. Maybe down the road when I want to experiment with another printer, or trying to do another conversion, and I think about like a different hot end, a different extruder setup. But for now, the clockwork is pretty good in my opinion, so no need for me to change that up. Went ahead and got the LED LCD installed, the TFT. I decided to just use that instead of a tablet. I was gonna use a tablet, but I was like, I really like the front of how this looks, and it blended very well, so I just decided to keep the LCD screen. Plus, it just gives me all the information I need anyways, so you know what I'm saying, I'm not looking to be all fancy, because honestly, I manage all my printer from my gaming computer here. I can see all of them, all the IP addresses, and I can usually manage them from there, so there's no need for me to come here and touch it on the tablet or anything like that. So, and these are also custom lengths, because you can see the frame is very wide, so I had a buddy remix the STL for me, because I was being lazy, but he just went in Tinkercad, extend the length, and to try to keep the look the same way without it being squished, without the honeycomb being squished. So he did a great job. I appreciate him for doing that, and that fit really nicely. What else did I do? Kind of pre-ran some stuff, like I said, pre-wired the top here. This is for a digital RBG, so there's some RBG lights here on the inside. That's gonna look really nice. I like to run my wires like this. I like to use JST on the wires. So basically, I have them in like pairs. So basically, the hot end and thermistor wires in one connector, the hot end fan and the part cooling fan is in one connector, the stepper motor, and then the this is for the clicky probe. So I'm deciding to use a clicky probe in this one because I have the clicky probe installed on my 2.4 over there, and I love it, dude. It's so much better. It's way better than the inductive probe. The PL08 is way better, more consistent, no more heat drift or any weird numbers. It's just so much better. So I decided to go with the clicky probe, and I definitely recommend you guys go with the clicky probe. It's just way better. Also mounted my end stop switches. I like switch. I know a lot of people are debating between the switch and the magnetic end stop. I prefer switch. Switch to me is so much better. I don't know. I just like the reliability of hearing a click switch. I know it's gonna stop, so I prefer the switch. For the hot end, I'm using a Dragon, Fadus Dragon High Flow. Luckily, they were on sale, and I grabbed like 2 of them, so I have 2 Fadus Dragon High Flow. So that's what I'm going with, that one, Fadus Dragon High Flow. Love that hot end. Yeah, so now also kind of pre-wired the stepper motors here too. Kind of sleeve them with a power cord, is what you call it, a power cord. Sleeve them just to make them look nice with the black and white, just to go with the whole theme, tying everything. I'm gonna turn this machine around so you guys can see it from the back, and then I'm also gonna flip it upside down so you guys can see exactly what I've done. Okay, so now we're viewing it from the back. As you can see, the belts are round. I ran the belt pretty stiff. It's pretty stiff. Like, the belt are pretty tight, and I still have a lot of room for adjustment with the front idlers. So, but yeah, I make sure the belt was pretty stiff out the gate. This is, I think it's fiberglass reinforced belts. They're not the Gates belts. I know people love to like to suggest Gates belts, and I actually have Gates belts on my 2.4, but I bought the same fiberglass reinforced belts that on my 1.8, and it's been printing like that for like months now. From the time I built it, it's non-stop printing, because I do print PEIF parts, Voron parts, on my Etsy shop, and that kind of help fund some of this stuff. And I have no issues with it. So I'm glad I kind of discovered a belt where I don't have to wait on Gates belts. Like I said, I'm different. I like to go outside the box. Like I don't like to do everything people recommend just because I know that they got to be some other solution. And so far, those belts are holding up perfectly fine. No issues with them. No stretching or anything like that. So I'm happy. So I just bought the same belts. They're pretty cheap on Amazon. Fiberglass reinforced belts, and I don't have to worry. I know they're gonna work great. What else? Yeah, put the skirts. Again, this was also custom. This I had to make it wider because, like I said, the front is kind of wide. So that's also had to edit this STL to make sure it's stretched out a little bit. What else? Did put the put in the Ethernet adapter there, and the power plug side. So yeah, but it's looking good, guys. It's looking real good. This thing's gonna be a beast because it's so huge. I'm supposed to get my 6mm 330 by 330 millimeter cast aluminum bed today. So that's gonna be drilled and set up to mount. So I'm looking forward to that. Let me flip it upside down so you guys can actually see that as well. All right, guys, so as you can see, it's now upside down. As you can see, I kind of pre-wired some stuff up. Got a 350 watt power supply. Got a 100 amp SSR. Total overkill for this build, unnecessary, but you know, it's cheap enough, so I just went ahead and buy it. 2 GB Raspberry Pi 4, and I'm using the Octopus board. Now, I'm not going to use a spider board because the first spider board I bought, and I installed it in my 2.4 and it died on first boot up. I was so disappointed in Physek. I mean, I was real irritated about it because I was looking forward to using that board. It was so slick looking. I mean, but you know, thank God it broke, because it that ended up forcing me to use a SKR 1.2 Pro and a SKR E3 Mini, and I taught myself out how to run 2 boards with Clipper. So I'm glad that happened because I wouldn't have learned how to do the 2 board setup with Clipper. So I'm happy that now that I know how to do the 2 board with Clipper, you know, it's basically an asset at this point. So I can take any 2 boards and run with Clipper now that I know. But the 1 board solution is still awesome. But anyways, to get to the point, I definitely not going to use the spider board. It sucks. They sent me a new one and I'm not going to use it. It's probably going to sit there and rot, or I'm going to end up selling it. But I was so disappointed in the spider board because there's no way for a company like Physek to send out a board that is practically not finished. It wasn't finished. There's no way I should boot up a board and it dies on the first boot. I don't care what the excuse is. It's almost like, in my opinion, they tried to collaborate with Voron and rushed out a product that wasn't really done. Essentially, like a cash grab kind of thing, in my opinion. So I'm just totally disappointed in that. So I'm not going to use it. So I'm just ending up using the Octopus board. So far, people are having very good luck with the Octopus board, and yeah. So I'm going to stick with the Big Tree Tech board from now on. But what I do like from Physek is their boards, their beds, their PI sheet, their beds, their magnetic stuff for their beds. I really love that. Like that is great. But as far as outside of that with the board stuff, yeah, I'm just totally disappointed in them for that. But yeah, this is the progress I made so far, guys. Pretty much almost done here. Just waiting for a few stuff. Like I said, my cast aluminum bed. And there's some printed parts here, some more printed skirts over there on the Tronxy. I'm printing it in PTG. This is not ABS PTG, and the reason for that is because why waste ABS for this? It's just a skirt and it's outside of the frame. You know, this is never going to get hot. It's pretty stiff as well, because I used the Voron ABS settings on it, so it's 40% infill, all that stuff, four walls. It's pretty rigid stuff. So I decided to save some some ABS and just use the black PETG in this case. It's just easier. Because right now my printers are busy printing PIF parts for other folks, so just utilizing my Tronxy for this reason. So, but yeah, as you guys can see, it's looking good. Also, like you see, I have MGM9 rails mounted. I know some people are questioning whether you can mount it or not. Yes, you can, as long as you have, let me see if I have one. As long as you have this printed part. Now, this is for the MGM12H linear rails, but there's also printed guides for the MGM9. As long as you have this, so you can, you know, toss it over it. I'll get like at least about 3 of them, make sure they sit in place nice and clean and neat. Then you can kind of screw it down and keep it pretty much aligned to the whole frame. So yes, you can mount MGM9 linear rails to V-slot extrusion. Okay, so just wanted to let that be known if you guys weren't sure. But yeah, everything is looking pretty much really good. I'm super excited. Almost done. Like I said, in the next video I should pretty much have it printing and look a lot better. Also, one more thing before I go. I keep remembering stuff I need to show. So for this, I will be using some IGUS flex chain cable. Okay, so it's kind of thick, so I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to fit it in the drag chain. Just don't know if there's going to be space to run any other cable, but that's fine, because within this thick cable chain, there's like 18 conductors. Okay, 18 conductor wires, and that's plenty enough to pretty much drive all of the stuff on the tool head. These are all 20 gauge wires. So that's plenty enough to drive pretty much a fan, the hot end, the thermistor, everything on the tool head. But I gotta run like 4 additional wire for the end stops in conjunction to this, which is no big deal. I just like the idea of this because you get one nice thick cable with everything in it, and these are rated for like millions of hours of bending or flexing. So there should be no issues with, like a hot end fan or power cooling fan or a thermistor or something going out, because that's the issue I was having with the silicone wire, and like using the cheap Chinese drag chain. They're so sharp they end up damaging the actual wires I was using. So I just opted to use this. So we should have no issues with this at all. So yeah, guys, so that's what I'm looking forward to do. So yeah, so I gotta wire that up, make sure all is working, all the connectors, and yeah, so this is it, guys, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Peace.